All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we have an update coming from the mouth of Terence Crawford's trainer, Brian McIntyre, regarding the Errol Spence Jr. rematch. Let's talk about what the most likely trainer of the year has to say in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to be in the 154 or 60 pound division, where Brian Bomac McIntyre is asked questions about the rematch with Terence Crawford and give some answers that may shed light on what is coming next. And in typical Brian McIntyre, very disrespectful and brushing off of Errol Spence Jr. style, in short, he says it doesn't make a difference. But before we get into that, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It is how we're able to continue to do this. So thank you very, very much. And if you don't support my channel, go find another content creator to support, because it's the type of content that you like. And it helps people continue to be able to do it, because, you know, the lights ain't free. So thank you. But let's get into this, because I think this issue is going to be just about settled. Been keeping track of it on the channel for, you know, pretty much this entire time that Errol Spence and Terence Crawford have been talking about fought, and now getting ready for a rematch. There's been a lot of rumors out there about what was in the agreement between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And one of the things, as far as the rematch goes, and one of the things that was said was that Errol Spence Jr., or the winner of the fight, the loser of the fight, gets to exercise a rematch clause. And the winner of the fight gets to determine what weight the fight is going to be at. And so therefore, a lot of people were speculating that, not just speculating, this is what was being reported, that Terence Crawford gets to decide what the weight class is. And as it turns out, I'm not 100% sure, or nor does it really sound like that is the case. And despite people from Terence Crawford's camp having said that they would not fight Errol at 147, and more looks like that fight is going to be taking place at 154 pounds. Brian McIntyre himself came out and said that he does not think that the weight matters, that the fight is going to be the same thing no matter what weight classes it's at. Whether it's at 160 pounds or whether it's at 126 pounds, that it doesn't make a difference for the outcome of the fight. Now, you also had Terence Crawford when he had an interview. I can't recall the name of the YouTube page or the Instagram page that did the interview. However, and forgive me for the person that did it, what he did say in this interview was he recited what the rematch clause was, which was that or the weight class was. He said either party, if they cannot make the weight, has to notify the other party in writing. And he said that he had not had it in writing, so therefore the rematch has to be at 147. However, Stephen Espinoza came out and said that it's not that simple, that Terence Crawford or the winner of the fight can't just say, no, I don't want to have the fight at 154 pounds. I don't want to have the fight at 154 pounds just for Errol Spence, but I can move up to 154 pounds and fight Jermell Charlo, or I can move up to 168 to fight Canelo Alvarez. So Stephen Espinoza said it was not that simple. Also, you had this weekend on Showtime during the Rory Ronaldo, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Rory Ronaldo, who is does the color commentary for the fights on Showtime, said that that the rematch is gonna be taking place between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence, and that the fight will most likely be at 154 pounds. So that all of that is basically telling you, the more likely it's looking at 154 pounds. But there are some other things with it as well that I just, there's some various Terence Crawford fans that come by the page. Shout out to Rick Tim, shout out to Jeffrey Brooks, shout out to Chillville. Really big Terence Crawford fans gave their input on what they thought should happen and the reasons why. And I echo the same thing, which is that, look, man, just like Steven Espinoza said, if you, first of all, this guy can't make 147 or is very uncomfortable at 147, but you're willing to fight Jermell Charlo at 154 and Canelo at 168, that it just makes you look bad and makes it look like you're purposely trying to drain the guy down in weight just because it's him. And when you can't say that the reason that you wanted at 147 is you want to defend your belts, or that's the belt that's the weight class that you're going to stay in, when you're going to be leaving the weight class, in the next fight, anyway, this fight, if it's not Errol Spence Jr., or the next fight, if it is Errol Spence. And so it's going to add a lot of fuel to the fire of people that are saying, look, man, that's the reason why Terence Crawford won the fight. Now, I try to make this break all the time where, I said this the entire time that I was talking about the lead into the first fight, was that, look, man, Terence Crawford is an excellent fighter for sure. So he's been my number one pound for pound fighter for years. Even though I picked Errol Spence Jr. to win the fight, I knew and said a bunch of times that, yeah, Terence Crawford absolutely has the ability to win the fight. He's an excellent fighter, man. I just, for certain reasons, would have picked Errol Spence Jr. However, in the fight took place, it was a one-sided fight for Terence Crawford. Errol Spence Jr. said that hopefully he can get the fight at 100. The next fight or the rematch can be at 154. And therefore, because he had a very difficult time making weight. Now, Sharmba Mitchell, and this is something I did a video about the other day. Sharmba Mitchell, who was a former, I think he was a 140-pound champion. Believe he got beat by Costa Tszyu. He definitely got beat by Floyd Mayweather Jr., but a very, very good fighter, man, in the early 2000s out of DC. Said, look, man, I know very much what it is to have that weight on top of you, difficulties making weight. And he said, look, man, I guarantee you it's going to be a different, more energetic fighter with Errol Spence Jr. in the rematch, as long as it's at 154. Floyd Mayweather himself had said that he thought that Errol shouldn't even be fighting in 154. He should be fighting in 160, or he should be fighting in 168. So clearly it's a big issue. It's definitely a big issue for Errol Spence, and we'll see how it plays out, man. But if Bomac says, hey, I can beat you at 160, it wouldn't make a difference, then hey, shouldn't be much of an argument. Have the fight at 154. They're not going to strip Terence of his 147 belts if he wants to continue to defend those. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.